Yes, that is correct. Sargon of Akkad has officially lost his mind. So he did a video about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in which he titled it Red Cortez. Now, he got banned. He came back to Twitter because he'd been banned multiple times already, and he was, I guess, he didn't want to come back or whatever it was. So he decided to come back. He decided to actually come back. And then he got banned in, I think, 2 days. He lasted 2 days on Twitter until he got banned. I don't know whether he got banned for something he posted, or maybe Twitter has a rule if you get banned on one account, you can't make another one. I know YouTube has that policy, but he has a Facebook, and here's what he posted to his Facebook. He said, "The Democratic Party has become the Socialist Party of America," and then linking the video to Ocasio, the Red Cortez video. So this is just mind boggling because, you know, either he's just completely lying out of his ass and he's just being a complete like smear merchant and a liar, or on the other hand, the other option is he's just gone insane and he's delusional. Because if you think that the Democratic Party of the United States of America is somehow even remotely close to the Socialist Party, you've lost all sense of reality. I don't know how else to put it. There's so many different things. So first of all, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's not a socialist. She's a social democrat. She just incorrectly uses the term democratic socialist, just like Bernie Sanders does. She's really just a social democrat. That's what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez really is. You hear what she talks about? She says, hey, I want Medicare for all, a living wage, free college, just stuff that every other industrialized nation has. Psh, whoa, that's too much to ask for, right? None of that is socialist. None of that. They're not calling for any redistribution of wealth and the seizing of the means of production and, enforcing a policy of democracy amongst the workplace and, equal pay in the work. That's not what they're advocating. They're not advocating for the workers owning the means of production. Nobody is. So let's look at the the Democratic, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Let's see what she said about socialism.
Thank you for your question, but I have to say we're capitalist, and that's just the way it is.
Okay, so you just saw the the Democratic Party Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, outright say we're capitalists. So, what you're looking at is obviously just a flat out, debunk thing, because that's the leader of the Democratic Party in the House of Representatives, and she says we're capitalists. That's what she says. But if you think that somehow, here's the thing. It's one thing to be socialist because that's super, off the spectrum when you're talking about like actual political spectrums. But these Democrats are not even, close. In certain countries, they'd be considered conservatives or more right than conservatives. Because to my understanding, conservatives in Canada don't want to abolish their universal healthcare system. Apparently that's not what they want to do, but there are many upon many of, and I think a majority, honestly, of Democrats do not support Medicare for all. Dianne Feinstein, for example, a senator from California, the supposed, lefty cuck state. She just got reelected. She literally just got reelected by the supposed people that have become the Socialist Party of America. She was just elected. She came out. She was asked at a town hall about Medicare for all. She says, no, we're not for that. Nancy Pelosi says, oh, we now have the ability for every state to get a public option. So it's only going to take like 1 trillion years to get every state to have a public option. And even in that case, it's not going to be everything, perfect. So, but hey, what can you say? But again, the closest that, or I guess you could say like the furthest left the Democratic Party has really seen is Bernie Sanders. And even Bernie Sanders is not even close to a socialist. He's just a social democrat. He's not, and Sargon of Akkad has admitted this, by the way. If you watch the Red Cortez video, in the beginning, he literally breaks down the difference between democratic socialism. And he says Bernie Sanders isn't actually a democratic socialist. He's a social democrat. So he's well aware of this. So you're talking about Bernie Sanders was cheated out of a fair election, but he wasn't able to win. So what you're talking about is you're talking about the Democratic Party. The person who got closest to voting in, who's really like the furthest left, is a social democrat who advocates for milquetoast things like universal health care and a living wage and free college, which free, Medicare for all, some form of universal health care. Some countries even grant health care as a right, by the way, not all of them. But every single industrialized nation in the world has universal health care in one form or another. I can't say that enough because I don't think people understand the relativity of this issue. You're talking about, the United States being this isolated country with being the only industrialized nation without universal health care. And there's some third world countries even have universal health care because it has better outcomes. That's what it does. It has better outcomes and it covers everyone. Just, really the conversation should be, should we have a Canadian style system or a UK style system? That should be the question. But if you seriously, honestly, if you believe the person who was just a fucking presidential candidate didn't even believe in universal health care. So the person who was just about to be, who was the Democratic nominee for president, wasn't even an advocate for Medicare for all. She just said, we just need to make improvements to Obamacare, which is it's as milquetoast as it could possibly get. That's what it is. It's literally as milquetoast as it could possibly get. So, there's no merit to this whatsoever, but honestly, this caught me off guard because although the Red Cortez video was a steaming pile of shit and it was terrible, this is just utterly diluted and has no sense of reality attached to it, and it's based in nothing. I repeat, nothing in reality. There's nothing pinned to reality or even associated with reality in this statement because the current Democratic Party is, massively corporate. We can't even get the Democratic Party to support policies that the country that Sargon of Akkad, the policies that they have, universal health care. So you have this guy shitting on, the Democratic Party or whoever saying that they're becoming the Socialist Party, when ironically the country that he lives in, the Labor Party, the country in general is further left than the United States. So, that's just insane. That's insane. Again, this is completely diluted and has no attachment to any fact or reality at all whatsoever.